Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are super excited to be diving into something a little more personal for us today. We are going to be talking about how we first became inspired to jump into the destination wedding market and how that newfound passion really fuels our other passion for connection and storytelling.
If you crave luxury but need guidance, then stay tuned for magic. Welcome to Wedding Tips and Tales with TS Wed, the podcast where we unveil the secrets to crafting the perfect luxury wedding. Join us for expert advice and insider tips that will make your special day unforgettable. Let's make your wedding dreams come true together.
So, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to dive in.
Yeah.
My name is Taryn.
I'm Dani.
And we are the dynamic duo behind TS Wed, which is a luxury destination wedding planning firm that services weddings globally. We're super excited that you've joined us today. But before we start, Danielle Marie, what are you drinking?
Good old Earl Grey
Oh,
in my
that
Taurus cup. Isn't
is a cute cup. I've never seen that one.
it cute? It has my little mermaid. See?
It's from Wings.
It is from Wings in
It's
Maui.
so cute.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love it. Well, I am not being good. I am drinking Chardonnay.
That's fine. That's
It's
fine.
not, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
fine.
not here, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere.
Who time is not real. Anyways.
Time is a construct.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh gosh, it's so good though. I'm really happy with my choice. All right, let's start with you, Miss Danielle. What is it that inspired you to dive into destination wedding planning?
Do you want like the real answer?
Yes, of course we want the real
Yeah, I want
answer.
someone else to pay for my travel. What do you mean?
You could have done a lot of different things if that was the only answer.
I know. No, it's
And
listen,
for the record,
when
for everyone listening, the someone else to pay for her travel is me.
okay, well,
So,
I don't care who. It's someone. No, I mean, so I always wanted to do weddings, right? So that was a given. I've wanted to do that since I was in college. Events
but
are just
why?
because they're the most fun. Parties are fun. I love hosting parties. Like, that's like half of your memories in life, not half, but like some of the best ones are going to be at like these incredible gatherings of people. And whether they are intimate dinner parties for somebody's birthday or whether it's a wedding or like any of the I mean, even funerals being the worst like moment can be really wonderful in its connectivity and its like ability to bring people together. And it's truly like we say this all the time, like weddings are besides funerals, weddings are the only time you really can get all the people you love into one room. It is
Right.
like, your 50th birthday, you're gonna have plenty of people who say, no, I'm not going to Barbados for your 50th birthday. But if it's your wedding, you're gonna have a lot less people say no to that, right? So like just parties are fun. They're special moments that we get to like, I just love them. I want to be at them.
And you want to plan them.
I want to plan them. Yeah. What
All
about
right,
you?
so that's why you love weddings. Why do we love destination weddings?
Again, the travel, like it's the same thing with parties. So, a tale, a good friend of mine from college, she was my roommate in college. She's an astounding, amazing actress and singer. She got married in Mackinac Island in Michigan because that
So
is
we
where
call it Mackinac,
Mackinac. You will
Mackinac,
wrong. They won't like it.
Mackinac.
It's wrong. Mackinac Island in Michigan, because that is where his family like spent summers. And so they had the wedding there. It is the most impossible place in the whole wide world to get to. Like you have to take every single mode of transportation. I'm not kidding. We took a bus, we took a ferry, we took a plane, we took a car, we took a horse-driven carriage, like everything short of a bike, which we could have if we had had more time. But like this was a destination wedding. I would never have gone to Mackinac Island for any other reason. Like it's
Mhm.
not on my list of vacation spots. It's so hard to get to. Like I would never have gone. But because my friend was getting married there, we went and it was an incredible place. It was so fun. It was so unique. No cars are allowed on this island. It is all truly like horse-drawn carriages and bicycles everywhere. It was this incredible experience that I wouldn't have gone to. Like I wouldn't have gone there for any other reason but a wedding. So like, you get to not only have this amazing party, but you get to do it in an amazing space that maybe your best friends and best family and all that have never been to before. That's how cool is that?
Mhm.
I
I
love
love
it.
that.
Yeah. What about you?
You've just a very different story than I
That's fine.
do.
This is why I do the designing. I'm like,
Yours is better than mine. Yours is like objectively a better like origin story than mine when it comes
right.
to
Well, when
this
they make the movie about me, we'll make sure that
Good,
it's
good.
not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Who would play you in said movie?
We're not
We
doing this.
all know who would play me.
No, no,
Yes,
no. I
it
don't
would
know.
be Blake Lively.
She's on
It
the
would.
outs right now. We don't
We
know.
all know who would
She
be.
seems problematic. You might not want her anymore.
That doesn't matter. She's looks very similar to me. And
She
I
said humbly. Taryn
you
said
know
humbly.
where I stand on this. You know
What
what
is
side of
your
the road I'm
story?
on here.
Why are you in destination weddings, madam?
No,
Focus.
who would play you? Mila Kunis.
Sure, I'll take it.
Ah, that seems
Yeah,
right.
sure.
I'm in destination weddings on accident.
Right.
I differently from you, I growing up was never really a party person. On Maui, there aren't really like tons of parties. Like people don't go, there aren't like bars or clubs or like everything literally shuts down at the very, very, very latest at 10 p.m.
Right.
And so like it just wasn't really a thing that like I didn't like need to go get a fake ID or like that wasn't a thing. It wasn't really a thing. People would like go to the beach and hang out with friends and drink on the beach, but like that's
Right.
not an event. That's not a party. That there was nothing happening. It was,
That's going to the beach. Yeah.
it was just a like that's just how it was. So even like weddings on Maui, local weddings on Maui, which are the ones that I would go to growing up for like family members and friends that were getting married there, even that was not like a whole to do. That was like potluck style. Like everyone would bring whatever tables and linens they had. Like Auntie would be doing the flowers. Like it just wasn't really a thing that I aspired to because I'd never really seen it. I'd never really seen those kinds of events, or had those kinds of party experiences. That just wasn't a thing. And even with hosting, like my parents are very introverted people. We didn't like they never hosted things. Like we didn't have dinner parties. We didn't have, like it wasn't in my realm of experience. So I was never that girl that was like planning her own wedding or looking at wedding magazines and blah blah blah. Like that just wasn't me. And then I went to college and my sophomore roommate at the sorority that I should never have been in, she was desperate to be a wedding planner. She had her entire wedding planned out. She was not currently dating somebody. She like had subscribed to wedding magazines, and so they were sent to the sorority house, and like she would pour over them. And this was like her dream come true would be to be a wedding planner, and she had great taste. She was like just the epitome of J. Crew. And like would have been great at this. I don't think that she didn't do this, but would have been great at this. And I was like, ew, like that's not, I know, ew, I can't relate to you, ironically. And so I ended up getting an internship my senior year of college at a property on Maui in their convention services department. And day one, their wedding manager went out on maternity a month early because she was in labor way early. Baby was fine and happy and all good things. Um, but because of that, they went into panic mode at the hotel. They didn't have a replacement for her. She ran the entire department all by herself. They didn't have additional staff members that could do it, and they were freaking out.
Yeah.
And I love people. My whole life I've loved people. I love people and I do love planning. I've always been just super type A, just very, all my ducks are always in a row. All my lists are just so that kind of person. And I said, well, that's fine. Like I can talk to brides. Like I love women. I love people. I can absolutely talk to these people until we find a replacement. That's no problem. And so for a month, I ended up,
The key word being until we find a replacement, which is said so often in the hotel world, and yet
yes. And yet, and yet.
yet.
Um, but yeah, so I ended up doing it. I ran the weddings department at this very elite property on Maui. I executed weddings, I booked weddings, I planned weddings, I did it all. Just totally inexperienced and just loving people. And I fell in love with it and realized that that was the job for me. And I left that experience, changed, and then just had a passion for people and planning and married them together and started TS Wed. And here we are.
Yeah. And here we are.
And here
Yeah,
we
I
are.
mean, I just think, especially for destination weddings, right? So when we started working together, which was a few years ago now,
How
um,
old's Quincy?
7 years
There.
now.
That's how many years.
Weird. We were just on Maui. We weren't even all of Hawaii. It was just Maui.
Yeah.
Um, and then, we had talked about, you and I had talked about like maybe expanding to the other islands and doing other islands and how cool would that be? And I think if I remember correctly, didn't we like discuss like, oh, like a 5-year plan of like traveling to do weddings and wouldn't that be cool? And like,
You said that so flippantly. We did not just like sit down and chat about it. We had like developed a full plan. Like we had like a whole step by like we this was like a weeks long like you blocked it out. You blocked it out.
listen, I do much. Uh, and then right, COVID happened,
COVID.
right?
That's
Like
why you blocked it out because the plan was literally finalized in like January of 2020. And then February of 2020, COVID hit and it just dumped every plan anybody ever had into the garbage disposal.
it's also just like everybody, I feel like everybody that I talk to, especially in the industry, but I think like writ large was like 2020 was gonna be their year. Like everything was
We
like
were
finally
gonna have
lined
a
up.
great year. It's
Yeah,
so
it was insane.
annoying. Yeah.
Do you ever wonder, whatever, that's like a whole nother podcast, but
That's like
like,
an alternative reality.
yeah, correct. Anyways, but yeah, so then that was where, like, that's where we really went into the destination,
Mhm.
like us traveling for the destination rather than the destination being where we were. Because nobody could come to Maui, right? Like
Yeah,
Hawaii shut down. And it's not like every other
correct.
state where you can just like drive across the border and be there. Like you have to fly into Hawaii. And when you did that, you then had to be in a 2-week quarantine.
Right. And
No
for a
one's
long
doing
time, you couldn't even fly into
that. Right.
Hawaii unless you had a residential license.
Right.
So I think really for our listeners, like our first foray into destination weddings outside of Hawaii was not a passion project, even though we were going to be passionate about it. It was what we had to do to keep the business afloat
Yeah,
during 2020.
it was desperation that we did it
Yeah, it was
for. Not
totally like
yeah.
we need money, like or else we can't pay paychecks. And
Right.
so
Yeah,
here we go.
it was
Here we
truly
go to
just
Vail.
clients.
Here we go
Yeah,
to
clients.
Minneapolis. Here we go to
Yeah, that's like
Nashville.
they're
Like,
not willing to wait, right? And that was so fair. People weren't willing to wait. And
right.
Hawaii was like one of the last states that like loosened some of those restrictions around social gatherings. And so there were other states, obviously, for better or for worse, but like there were other states that you could still have small events, so you could still have weddings, or you could still whatever. And Hawaii just wasn't one of them. So instead of us losing clients, especially clients that we had already worked a year plus with and planned out their wedding and got to know really well, and that they trusted us and we loved them and all these things. And so instead of saying, okay, bye, we said, we'll come to you. That's
Yeah,
fine.
pick a place.
Yeah,
Pick a place.
that's fine.
Do you want to stay in your hometown? Do you want to go somewhere else? Like, where are we going? Because we'll go. I'll never be not grateful for Terry and Tony, the Hormuth Jepsinski wedding, because they were the first people to say yes to us
Correct.
that they would do this. And they had like their wedding was, I mean, it was planned and paid for and like it was gonna be
Um,
on Maui and they were so excited. And then they, COVID and they said, you know what? Yes, we'll fly you out. Come to Vail.
right.
And that was the one. That was our first destination wedding
Yeah.
away from Hawaii. And I will never forget that trip. I will never forget that trip. That was in July of 2020. And we made all the mistakes that one could make because we'd never done that before. And so we had huge suitcases and we stayed in a location that wasn't the same as the couple. And we
Right.
it didn't know how far away the venue was from said location. And
And the venue, we had never been to the venue before. Also, the
yeah,
venue was like up a dirt road on the mountainside with no cell phone service. Mind you, Piney River Ranch,
gorgeous.
gorgeous, amazing. We
Up.
found it.
10 out of 10 would go there again. Yeah.
Yeah, we found it for the clients. Like it was stunning. Highly recommend it. All good things. But for your first destination wedding, like away from your home base, away from your home vendors that you use all the time, like having no cell phones, that was my freak out on site for that wedding was I was like, wait, there's no cell phone service there.
Yeah.
Like, what if the rental company needs to get a hold of me? What if the florist can't find it? Like, it was like a full panic.
And everything was beautiful and great. The couple, when they came into the space, broke down in tears, both of them, because they were so happy with everything. And my favorite memory, and maybe this is really like the start for both of us, really,
Yeah.
about like really headlong into destination weddings worldwide, was the next day. We were so tired. It was only a 2-day event, but it was small, but it was just so unfamiliar to us.
Right.
And the next day the TV in our condo that we were staying in was in the living room. There was no other TV in the house. And so we pulled out the pull-out couch, you and I, and we had like 2 bottles of red wine and a
Yeah.
bunch of trash food. Like I'm talking like, Cheetos and chocolate and just like, and we sat there and Danny had never watched the Vampire Diaries. And so we started binge watching the Vampire Diaries while our feet, stopped swelling.
Right.
And I remember in between an episode, we looked at each other and we were like, oh, we love this. Like, this was amazing. Like, what a cool experience.
Yeah.
It was 3 events. I lied. It was three. They had a farewell brunch.
Like I said, I black out most things, so who
Yeah,
knows?
they had a farewell brunch. Anyways, that was when we were like, we got to start marketing this. Like, we got to, and then the next year we rebranded because we had all these, galleries from all over the states.
Which
And
was so funny because 2020, like 2020, the year that it was the year I traveled the most. Like I had not
Mhm.
traveled so much as I did in 2020. And like, knock on wood, I somehow remain unscathed by COVID. Despite all of my traveling, my girlfriends are like, but how? Like, I don't know. I wore a mask and I did all the things. Like, I don't know. But yeah, we traveled so much that year because we had
We had to.
to keep the business afloat. And quite frankly, amazing. That was amazing. We were
Yeah.
in California, we were in Colorado, we were in Tennessee. It was incredible.
It was incredible. It
Yeah.
was incredible. I think that was, yeah, I guess I think that's the real answer to the question at the beginning. Like the real answer is that that's when we went, oh, we're doing this and we're doing this now. Like we're going to do it. We're going to do it now. And then we did
And I also think like we both, and you discuss this with like your parents, we both love hosting. You
hmm
you and your husband and your kids, you guys host all the time. I
all the
host all
time.
the time. And like we love hosting. And there is something about travel and like destination weddings that like
Yeah.
especially because now these are always destinations that we have already been to, whether it's a site visit ahead of time or it's someplace like Piney River Ranch that we've already done a wedding at, or Timber Cove that we've already done a wedding at. Like we know these places now well, and if we don't, we go there ahead of time to know it well. So we can really be a good host to that area and
Yeah.
showcase that area off. I think, right, we just did a workshop in Maui, and I think part of what was so fun about it is that obviously you're from Maui. I lived there for a while. Like we got to show off a place that we really loved to people that we really love and that we
Right.
get to know and then really love. And so, like, it's so fun to be able to do that for a wedding party, for an intimate group of people, whether intimate is 10 or 100. Like, it is still intimate in the scope of like the world, and everybody's like, they brought in the 100 people that matter the most to them. And then we get to host and show them in a really amazing spot. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the cherry on top of an amazing event, right?
It is. So would you say that that then like kind of diving into the second part of the question, like, is that what fuels your passion? Is that ability to host, your passion to keep doing this and to keep pursuing this?
Yeah, absolutely. And like that connectivity.
It's a hard word. You did so good the second time, though.
Thank you. I tried. Anyways, like these are now stories that are being created in a space that is like these again, whether it's 10 or 100 people, these 10 or 100 people have this one location now that will always be connected to you as a couple and your wedding. And whether they like went snorkeling on their own accounts or whether they met up with their other college buddies and did what like no matter what it is, you've brought all these people together that are now creating these like little side stories too in a space that is, destination weddings aren't done in not beautiful or interesting locations, right? Like
Mhm.
not like, I was gonna be like somewhere in Ohio. Ohio's fine.
Ohio's, I thought it too. That's so funny.
Well, it's my least favorite state. That's why. I mean, it's fine. Sorry, Ohio. But you know what I mean? Like these aren't like boring locations. These are always whether it's on the water or in the mountains or in a foreign country or just a place that's like really important to the couple. Like these are cool places that now people have memories connected to you in. And that is what like again, you don't there is no real other time in your life that you get to create magic like that except for at a wedding. And
Mhm.
so like how cool for us to be able to take a part of that and like construct that magic and build that magic and then watch as everybody enjoys it and loves it, right?
Yeah.
People walking into a space and being like, this is incredible. Like that's magic. And we don't get a lot of that in life all the time.
Well, and I think coupled with what you were saying too, and I think what really fuels my passion for it is that obviously I love people. I love, love, love people, which means that I love different cultures. And so just adding to the uniqueness of like the location that you're in, being able to integrate like culturally important aspects of that location into the wedding experience, it's such a magnificent gift for the couple to give themselves, obviously, but then also for them to give their family members and friends. Like
Yeah.
uh, we had a hula performance and a fire knife show at the wedding that we did on Maui for the sweet couple, from the continental US, and like their family members and friends have never seen anything like that. Like they'll never forget that. And it will be something that is consistently uh reminding them of the couple and of that incredible experience that they had. Or the Irish dancer that did the jig when we did our event in Ireland. Or
Right.
the live paella station when
Oh,
we were
that's
in
so
Barcelona.
cool.
Like
That's
these
so yummy.
are crazy cool cultural experiences that speak to, and obviously the culture is the people, right? The people who make the food, who make the music, who make the dancing. Like it's so special to be able to share that as
Right.
a part of your wedding experience, because people will never forget it. Like that will forevermore be a core memory in their lives. And what a gift. Like what an amazing gift. I love that. And then also very selfishly, like we get to experience that too, right? So like obviously we plan it and we suggest it and we put everything together, but like being able to walk up to the Spanish chef and have, the paella with the prawn with his eyeballs still on, like served to me, like that was so cool. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I will never forget that. That was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, completely agree. We are very lucky to do what we do, and we love doing it, and we'll continue to do so. And wherever
Yeah,
people want to go, let's do it. Let's explore new
exactly.
places. It's so fun.
It's so fun. So that's our story,
Yeah.
our passion story for those of you who were maybe interested. We'll continue to be more and more and more passionate about what we do because we're going to more and more and more places. We're getting ready to go to a place where we've never been. We're going to Jamaica
I
for a
know.
wedding in 2.5 months ish,
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah. So close.
So close. And then we're doing another event in Prague this fall. Very excited.
It's
Never
very
been to
cool.
Prague. Very much looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be amazing.
All right, team. Well, thank you for joining us today. Pop back in for some more fun talk time with us. And thank you for putting up with our tips and tales. Until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your questions below for future podcast topics. Subscribe, like, and let us know your favorite tip from this video. Until next time, let's keep making wedding dreams come true together. Bye for now.